this first midterm, many of you have been asking how you can do better in this course. So I'm going to talk you through some of the things you can do to make sure that you stay on top of your work, and also to make sure that you're doing your work in the most effective way. So first, to begin with, if you're having trouble keeping track of what's due, we do have the calendar on the home page, but keep in mind that every week when you go under content and you go down to the week, each week starts with an overview. So in the weekly overview, you'll see the activities for the week, which include all the required activities and their due dates, as well as recommended activities. So that's one place that if you're having trouble keeping track of what you need to do when, you can print this out and check them off as you go, or put them on your calendar, or however you keep track of what you need to get done when. The other thing is that if you're watching lessons, it's very important that you take notes while you're watching lessons. So pretend like you're in a lecture in a regular class while you're watching the video and you're taking notes. So when there's important information like definitions, make sure that you're writing those down. When they're doing example problems, make sure you're writing those down. And another good thing about the lessons is that you can always go back to them. So a note about going back to the lessons, if you go back to the lesson, the graded lesson before it's due, again, always make sure that you click that you do want to resume. If you don't, it will clear your score and you'll need to start over. And also go to the review lessons once the graded lesson has closed. And with these, you can jump around more. You don't have to go in order. And it's a good idea to go back to the problems that were solved in the lessons and to start the video, so introduce the problem, and then pause the video, and then work through the solution. Then start the video and make sure that you did the steps correctly, and not only that you got the right answer, but also that your steps show their steps. Because you probably noticed on the exam that you would lose points if you didn't write out the work in the correct mathematical way. So writing out your work and showing your reasoning is very important for this class. So you have the advantage of these videos, which will show you the proper work that you need for these problems. So don't forget that you can go back to lessons and review them when you need to. Another thing to note is that you can always go back to homework to review. So in my math lab, if you go to your assignments and then your homework, and then your grade book, in your grade book you'll see a review. And so if you didn't start a homework at all, then you can't review it. But if you did even one problem in the homework, then you can go back and review. And so this will show you what you did, and it'll show you what you got correct and what you got wrong. So if it has a green check mark by the problem, that means you got it right. The X means you got it wrong. So you can go through and review. So like this one, I didn't even get to number 5, but I can come back and review it. I'm not going to get any points, but I can still learn from the homework. And so even if you got them right, it's a good idea to go back if you're having problems remembering how to do certain types of questions. You can go back to the homework and review. Don't forget you can do similar exercises as well. So if you already got this one correct, you could do a similar exercise that you didn't just see the answer to. You can do the same thing for quizzes. If you go into quizzes, you can hit that review button and it will give you the correct answers so that you can go back and rework them or figure out what you did wrong. And then also with quizzes, so that's how you review your in-class timed quiz you did through my math lab. But in Carmen, in this quizzes solutions, the solutions to our quizzes get put up here. And so these quiz solutions, sometimes our quizzes are a little bit different, but they're always very similar problems, so you can kind of figure out what you should have done to get the right answer. And because these quizzes are sometimes different, you have another type of quiz that you can practice going through and making sure you can get the right answer. Midterm one solutions are also up here, so you'll want to review your midterm because calculus does build on itself, and you'll want to know these topics later. Also, another great tool in my math lab is the study plan. So the study plan consists of extra problems. So if we go to view all chapters, then you can pick a chapter and you can go in here And if you see this little purple push pin, that means that it thinks that you've done well in that section and maybe know what you're talking about. But this will give you extra problems. So if you're having problems somewhere in here, you can go in and you can pick a topic, and then it will give you problems that you can do to make sure that you know what you're talking about. So there's extra problems. But I do want to say again, one thing about my math lab is that you're just entering answers. So it's very important when you're going through my math lab that you keep a notebook and you write down all of your work, because you're going to need to show your work on quizzes and exams, and that's where most of your points come from in this class. So you need to be able to show your work and show correct work. And like I said, with going back to the lessons, it's really helpful if you go back to those lessons, you try the problems on your own, and make sure that you're writing down the right steps. Don't forget that also in my math lab you have the ebook. So in the ebook there is not only the section content. If you click on the interactive ebook, and make sure that you've downloaded the Wolfram CDF player to open it, and then if you click on things, it'll give you more information, and you can see examples and refer to figures. So there are these interactive figures to help you get a better understanding of the material. And then there are worked out problems with solutions. And so if you're having trouble, because like a lot of these things you have to click on to expand, so if you go up to the top, this one is expand all, so that'll expand everything for you so you don't miss anything. Or you can leave them collapsed so you don't see all the solutions right away. There is like a quick quiz in here to make sure you understand what's going on, and then there are the exercises, so there's a whole bunch of extra problems in here that you can do as well. So as you can see, you have a lot of tools and options for how you can work to do better in this class, so make sure that you're taking advantage of them. And I know that it takes time, but that's just part of the class, is that you need to put in the time and be doing these types of things in order to do well.